Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to factor the difference of two squares. And the goal here is to talk about how it is a special case of a trinomial being factored. So, what we have here is a trinomial set up for us so that we can factor it. But what we realize is that the middle term right here is one that has a coefficient of 0. And normally we don't write those, but I'm going to start with this to help you understand why a difference of two squares works the way it does. So, if I have a middle term that's 0, I need to find two numbers that multiply to this negative 49, but add to 0. So I'm going to draw out my t-table, and I'll find all of these pairs that multiply to 49. But what I need is I need them to multiply to negative 49 and add to a total of 0. We know that if that was the case, it would have to be 7 and 7, one being positive and one being negative. Think about it like this. If you have the same number, one's positive and one's negative, they will add together to equal 0. So, if we set up our trinomial, we get x plus 7, x minus 7. However, oftentimes we don't see it with that 0 there. We see it just like this, where there's simply just two terms. And they're both perfect squares. Again, remember, something is a perfect square if it has an even exponent, if it's a variable term. And we've already in class talked about the perfect squares all the way up to 25. That's why it's so important to know that. And so here, when you have no middle term, think, well, what multiplies to this negative 49, but adds to a 0. So kind of imagine that plus 0x is in there, and factor it the same way that you would a basic trinomial, just with the middle term